you have an insatiable craving for a sweet, sweet podcast where you can listen to discussion on everything from music, TV and games, to politics, space, sports, and so much more? Do you like off-the-wall conversations and the most amazing segments with just the right amount of crazy? Well, you're in luck. Welcome to the place where three cool cats from Canada throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. Now, without further ado, introducing your hosts, Jake Andrews, Joe D'Souza, and Jackson Playfair.
What's going on, guys?
What is up, my dudes?
My lads, my bro.
New show, new intro, episode 10. It's a big night for us.
Dude, boys are hot with that new intro. Coming in on fire for episode 10.
I love it.
I'm loving it. Very, very spicy. So, it's been a long time coming that we've gotten to this point, and we've put in a lot of work, and we're about there as far as where we had envisioned ourselves to be when we had this crazy idea to start a podcast. So I hope you guys are psyched as I am.
Straight up, dude. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah, dude, fired up. It's been so fun. Like, it's one of those things that, like, I feel like is we're putting in work every day to it, but now that we're getting closer, it's like getting fun to see it start to come together, because I think it really is. And yeah, man, that intro's that just stuck in my head, dude. I feel like I'm on like a TV talk show right now.
So Joe, you said you had like a new a setup or something you wanted to touch on, eh?
Yeah. So a couple of weeks ago, I had bought a new interface for my headset and for my microphone. I got a new microphone and a new cord, and it went from like kind of a digital setup to more of an analog one. And I did that mostly for vocals because I have an EP coming out about next month, and I wanted to upgrade the quality of the vocals. Like, it sounds so good with the guitar and what I was using before, but for some reason, like, just the mic I was using whenever I would try to sing and belt, it was super tough to get a quality sound out of the vocals. Like, vocals are one of the hardest things to record anyway. So I made the investment, and I bought a little Vox guard and little things to make it sound a lot better. But like, so I bought it 2 weeks ago, right? And the interface is it's a little module that you plug into the computer, and then so you plug the module into the computer, and then the microphone plugs into the module, so that it's got this own
module.
Yeah, it's got this like separate whole, like, that's why it's called an interface. It's got its own like little computing system that's like just for making sure the mic sounds good, essentially. And so I was like, I got it, and I was like, sick. So a couple weeks ago, I've been pretty busy for a couple weeks, but a couple weeks ago I got it. I set everything up, downloaded the drivers and everything, and it sounded great. And I was like, oh, this is way better. Like, everything, just like I can sing now, and like, it doesn't just peak and like get all crackly, and it just sounds so much better. It's great. So I tried it out. A couple weeks went by. I got busy, work and stuff. And then I like tested it out, and it was just like doing a couple test runs and just like playing the guitar. And I think I had an audition or something, and I sent it an audition using it, and that sounded great. And then last night I was just in the zone. We just got like wrapped shooting on that shoot that we were doing, and I go home and I'm like in the mode, like I was just like having a great day. It was a little late at night. It was probably like maybe 11, and I was like, oh yeah, like I'm ready. I'm feeling it. I'm vibing it. I'm ready to start doing these vocals, because the whole thing is like sometimes with recording music, it's just like kind of when it feels right, when it feels like you're in the right zone. You don't want to like lose what you got. It's kind of like with acting too, how like you might have a moment, you don't want anybody to interrupt you, and you're having a moment because you're like in the zone, so you want to like capture it, that sort of thing. So I was feeling that last night, but with music, I was like, yes. And then I go to use it, and all of us, as soon as there's this button where you got to press 48 volts. So it's a 48 volt button. You press that button, and it makes it so the electricity allows the mic to work. So as soon as I press that button, I open up Reason Studios, which is the DAW that I'm using to produce my EP, and I open it up, and I press that 48 volt button, and it just goes, and it just stays like that for I don't know how awful that sounded for you guys, but it was constant. Like every time,
Pretty awful.
dude,
Dude.
it was so bad, and I was so cheesed going to bed. Like,
So this whole story that you just told us to open up the podcast for 5 minutes is that you invested in a mic that's just dog shit.
well, so that's what I thought, because I was like, yo, what is going on? It was working before. I've only used it like twice. So I called up the store. I'm like, yo, what's going on? I just bought this. It was a lot of money and it's not working. What's going on? Can I like replace it or you take it out? So I brought it in, and
How much of your Serb check was this mic?
I'm not gonna tell you.
No, you have to be honest.
uh,
You have to be. Just give me a percentage of your Serb check that it was.
it was like almost half, maybe.
I love that.
Yeah, there.
I love that, dude. And I love that you have to be from Canada to understand what that is, because we've just been getting money from the government. If you don't live in Canada, and if you do live in Canada, you don't fully appreciate that, just wake up. Go ahead and wake up.
Yeah,
Go ahead and wake up out of your deep slumber and realize the government's just been giving us money for the past like 5 months.
yeah.
That's kind of dope.
Hashtag blessed.
Yeah.
So I solved the problem though, and that's why this sounds, because I'm using it right now, and I solved the problem. And so I go in there, and he tries it out, and he tests it out, and he's like, "Dude, it's working fine." I'm like, "What?" I brought my
Uh-oh.
laptop in.
Press that 48-volt button, bro.
It's
No.
like, hey, dumb.
So there's this thing called a sample rate, and it's the way how much audio gets recorded during every slice that it's recording, like every frame by frame, how much of information the recording is like taking place. And so it's okay. So like CDs are around 44,000 hertz, right? Sometimes like 41,000 hertz. And then film and like cinema music is all around like 48,000 hertz. I checked my damn DAW on my computer and I had it at 196,000 hertz. So like essentially what I was doing is, I'm pretty sure I was just hammered
Wait,
and messing around
did you
with stuff.
set it? Yeah, did you set it to that, or is that just naturally what your computer goes to?
No,
Because if that's what it is, that's fucking hilarious.
I think when I was drunk last night and I was trying to like record, I started messing around with something and I pressed the wrong button. I think I smoked some weed too, and I just cranked up the hertz and almost broke my computer.
Was that before or after you almost burnt the house down with the chicken?
Yeah, dude, you're putting a week together for a roommate of the year right now. You're fucking blowing the windows out of your house because your hertz level is insanely high, and then you're trying to burn you're literally trying to burn the roof down by cooking chicken and do obliterate.
Yeah, I know. You make
He
valid
goes
points.
and moves for 8 hours.
Yeah,
Dude, I know. That was the funniest thing. So Joe helped me move on Saturday, and which I'm such a dick, dude. By the way, I had that like epiphany the other day, where I was like, dude, I'm the guy who asked people to move on a Saturday. Like, what a piece of shit. I guess there's no good day to move, but like
that's true.
There's no
better that than a weekday.
Yeah, fair enough, I guess. But still, it just, anyways, I felt bad about it because there was more shit than I thought. But the funniest thing is like, so I go to pick up Joe at like 11 o'clock, and he comes walking out in like jeans and a t-shirt, and he just jumps in and he's like, I'm so hungover. I'm like, oh, dude, we're gonna have such a bad time. I can't wait. But to be fair, we actually had a great time because we just shot the shit and had fun. But
played some catch.
Yeah, played some catch. Yeah, got a night, and then we got another nice sweat in after we moved. But fuck, dude, I know we talked about it a bit on the last episode, but moving is brutal, dude.
Yeah.
I thought this story was about Joe and his burnt chicken.
Oh yeah, that's the other part. So then we're driving to the airport, right? And Joe's like, he's like, yeah, dude, I went out with some coworkers last night, and he's telling me like the story of him being out and stuff. And he's like, then I came home, and I had these. Were they chicken breasts or full chickens?
No, it's chicken
breasts.
breast.
He's like, yeah, I had these 2 chicken breasts. He's like, got them out, seasoned them, prepped them. He's like, I was so loaded, fired him in the oven. I was so excited to eat them. And then I went and passed out face down on my bed. And I'm like, so that what happened? He's like, yeah. Then Kyle in the morning was like, yeah, dude, like, did you wake up to like the house full of smoke, or did Kyle just wake you up in the morning and be like, yo, dude, there's chicken that looks like charcoal in the oven?
No, everything was just like off, and like I remembered as soon as I woke up. Like I woke up and I just immediately went, the chicken. I went and checked, and I looked at the chickens, and they're just like burnt charcoal. Like,
So
So did
that's
he turn it off for you?
yeah,
or-
he turned it off for me, and then I went, and he was in the living
He's
room.
probably shaking his head like, "What a
Yeah,
dummy."
he was so good
yeah.
about
Shout
it.
out
though.
Kyle, dude. What a roommate.
He's such a good dude.
But dude, that actually brings up a funny concept or idea that I had where I'm like, dude, I don't think coming home from the bar wasted and making chicken breast is ever a good move, dude.
Never ever use the oven when you're
So you
making.
got McDonald's. bro.
Yeah,
That's
like
why.
what, bro? Like, and okay, you literally have DoorDash, skip the dishes, Uber Eats, the taxi ride home, bar food outside of the bar, and your decision is to go home and make chicken
Well, I
breast.
blame
dude?
COVID, dude, because like if you look at my Instagram, I've got highlights, a whole section of highlights of just awesome stuff that I've learned to cook. And so like I was just like, I'm gonna cook something mean when I get home, and then I didn't even get
Listen,
to eat
Joe
it.
doesn't even know how to use Amazon. He can't use Uber
Yeah,
Eats. Or
this is the same guy who says he's never
Yeah.
ordered anything off Amazon.
I have
dude. Like,
soon.
that's fucking insane. If I got an Amazon should send you like, actually they shouldn't because they'd probably have a lot less purchases, but like I wish I could get like a year summary of my Amazon purchases and then time of day that I made the purchase. Because the amount of stupid shit that I've ordered off Amazon at like 12:30, 1 o'clock at night, when I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm totally a 16-year-old in my parents' basement. I need LED lights in my house.
Yeah, but they're
And
so sick though. Like
they are sick,
I
dude.
looked
And
at those.
now I have 3 boxes of them, dude. I bought 1 box or 2 boxes of them. I bought 1 box and I was like, okay, these are obviously something I need in my whole house. And now I have legitimately 2 boxes sitting in the garage that I need to just figure out where I'm going to display. But dude, LED lights are lit as shit.
yeah, and they're
They
so.
are,
You
man.
really need that dumpling maker, don't you?
Yeah,
That bacon stretcher.
dude,
It's essential.
everything is on Amazon. The only thing I haven't ordered off Amazon is a book, which is hilarious because that's literally what Amazon is designed for,
Is that-
created as.
Is that how like Amazon
He's
started?
way past that. Yeah, bookstore out of his garage.
Wow,
Now he's a trillionaire.
dude,
Now he's getting dragged before Congress, but his buddies are on there, so he'll be.
what's that about?
You didn't hear about that? I guess it's not just him. It's like Zuckerberg and a couple other online go-to guru guys, and they're finally getting questioned on like some antitrust sort of thing. I think the story with Bezos is like he was like using data mining from statistics on his website or something to like undercut his suppliers that like put products on Amazon. So he would just list like the same sort of product at a lower, and obviously he can afford to. So
But is that not exactly what Costco does with like Kirkland brand? They're
that's
just
what
like,
Walmart does with entire communities.
yeah, dude. I mean, but the funny thing is, and I feel like with like people who get mega rich, and honestly, I think my favorite social trend going around right now is eat the rich. Or when people like tweet that or hashtag that,
I haven't
think it's
seen
Never
that.
heard of that in my life.
Yeah, what's
dude,
that
you guys
about?
got to go down the eat the rich path. It's people who just think that like, and I mean, there's probably there's probably weight to it. And when I stop and think about it, I definitely have aspects that I agree with. But there's just like the belief that like wealth should be capped. Like there's a certain level of where like, and I like, dude, if Jeff Bezos for real, whether it's like cash holdings, assets, property, like whatever, if he somehow is like has $1 trillion worth of wealth, like come on,
Yeah,
like come on,
I think we,
you know, like
I mean, I think we sort of touched on this a little bit before, but like I'd still like to keep like explaining or like going through it and exploring it a little bit because like it just like I totally get like what's the whole eat the rich thing? Like what is that about? Is it just basically a cap or
yeah, it's just basic. No, it's just basically like I don't know, like you know how stuff comes out that's like trends and it's like I guess like that's kind of a weird other thought if you think about it, how like the internet creates a place to establish like trends in the same way that like kind of religion of the past would, you know, like people can like start movements and beliefs and ideas off of like putting up hashtags and pictures where like in the olden days, or not even the olden days, but like in the history of things, like there wasn't that way to sharing media, but you could share it through like a belief of religion.
yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So like the internet's kind of became a place where like people can go and get support and movement. Anyways, going back to the eat the rich thing. Eat the rich is just the idea that like, yeah, like those guys need like eat them in the sense of like of lower the ability to like get to that level of wealth. But I don't know. I think that like for as much as there is that conversation, like that's the game we all decided to play. Like we all decided that capitalism and democracy is the best thing, and these guys kind of just beat the game.
I don't think we got a vote. Did you vote on that?
Well, I mean, not in theory, but I guess against the other options that are out there.
Yeah, what's the alternative, right?
Yeah, like it's either I guess that or communism or dictatorship, which neither of them
That's
seem to
not
be very
appealing to
good.
you?
Yeah, I don't know. I do like the idea of zero responsibility. I don't like the actuality of the way it's looked.
Yeah, it
I,
also
I
it's
like
not.
being told what to do to an extent, but
Yeah, I don't know. Like I totally do, and I totally get that. Like I'm a good laborer, you know, like I'm a good worker and that sort of thing. But I don't know, like
I
I'm
think
at a loss
life's
for words for that, really.
I think
I
life's
think,
easier when people can tell you what to do, but that's not better.
yeah, but when they
It
cap
just
how
doesn't
much you
feel
can
as
make, like,
meaningful.
okay, there's a point where like too much is like certainly a thing, and that's the Jeff Bezos of the world. Like, how much is too much? Well, however much you got is way too much. But like when when they say, oh, you know, everyone's gonna make 50,000 a year, regardless of what you contribute to society or regardless of what you you know, do for a living, you got to
Yeah.
be able to reach for the stars a little bit. Come on.
Yeah, no, I'm out on that 100%. And that's why I do believe that like that's why I have the other understanding of it where it's like yeah, but he like this guy also employs how many people? They also make like it's not like he's just like some evil guy. I mean, people might view
Yeah.
him that way, but he's not like sitting in a lair thinking of how he's going to take over the world. Like
How do you know? He could be.
I don't know, dude. I doubt it.
Yeah.
Like I think that if I
Is
had
it?
dude, if I had $1 trillion, it's not what I'd be doing. I
Yeah, but
would
you have a soul. Maybe Mr. Bezos doesn't.
Well, maybe
He's
he
kind of
just
got that Doctor Evil look.
he just needs to be
That's
reminded.
because he's bald. That's a tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. Just bald guys around the world are like, hey, come on, man. We're not all evil.
No.
No, just once with $1 trillion and probably sharks with laser beams on their freaking heads.
I just think he needs to be kind of maybe like reminded, or people at that level like just need to be like reminded that like I don't know, I have no idea. I'm not in that position, but I feel like
Because you ain't listening to nobody if you got $1 trillion, dude. Ain't no one telling you shit, dude.
right.
But somebody to walk in the door and say, hey, can you be a better guy? It's like, no, dude. I have $1,000 billion. No, I can't be a good guy. Like,
If you want to tug on the thread of if he's a good guy, I think a good place to start is what does he pay his like frontline workers? And apparently the story is quite similar to Walmart in that he doesn't pay them very well.
but then not arguing on either side of the coin, just like, speaking on a conversation base, like, do the frontline workers like how would you feel if a Walmart worker was making like 250 grand a year?
Whoa. Let's just put it at like $13 or something reasonable.
Okay, but like in Canada, I
year?
don't know what's minimum wage. Like minimum wage in Canada is what, 14, 15 bucks?
Yeah.
Depends where you live,
Yeah.
I mean, the States is a complete. I mean, I love the States. I've spent a ton of time there, but it's kind of a shit show when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like I'm speaking off of like that's where I'm
I
just
think
saying. That's where I'm saying like you should. I think there's the level of like yes, those people should be compensated, but at the same time, that shouldn't be something that like you. And I mean, I don't know. I guess if you want to be, if that's what you want to do, and that's your dream, then who am I to shit on that?
like I certainly think he deserves to get compensated for like being the guy behind it and making the tough decisions, but he's also making a lot of his money off the hard work of those frontline and like the army of people he's employing. So it's not to say pay him $250,000 a year. It's look at the average cost of living and the rate of inflation and pay them something that can at least get them a decent place to live. Like,
Yeah. No, and I agree. I think that there's the concept though that if you put more money out there, then is it not just going to raise inflation at a faster rate also? And I think that the imperfect practicality of it is that like there's skilled jobs and labors, and there's not unskilled, but like stuff that doesn't take as much training and expertise. And at the end of the day, like no matter what it is, no matter what field. I think that the reason that Bezos and like Zuckerberg to an extent and like the owners of these massive corporations get labeled, and I mean, not saying that they don't do wrong things, but like they're the head of something so big that it's easy to like look at that. But like at the end of the day, like if you're like a first time employee for most companies, like you're not making the best money. Once you work for a while and move your way up and like progress in a career job of choice, usually that comes with,
You would think that that's how it works, but I'm not so sure that that is how it is actually occurring. But you know what? There's something to be said for, you know, the inflation aspect of it, where, yeah, costs in society go up and products cost more. But when products cost more and we pay these companies more for their products, they make that bigger revenue. And most of the time, they're not passing on the bigger revenues to the workers that suddenly have to pay more for stuff or pay more rent. They're just making the same as they were before inflation kicked in.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why the
So there's
gap's
a different issue.
getting, yeah, the gap's getting bigger and bigger, and like they're, but like
But
that's just
that's why you eat the rich, man. That's why
why
you just
I'm starting to
consume
see
them.
the light here.
Yeah, I just converted you guys. Boom.
Well, there was a chart going around recently that my friend shared on Facebook about the average wage that the population is making in different Canadian cities, and then how much a one bedroom apartment costs. And in most cases, it's like to live like not lavishly or anything, but to be like semi comfortable and be able to afford a one bedroom house, like the average pegged cost was like $21-22 an hour. And minimum wage is like 14 after we raised it and people fought it like crazy.
That's so interesting.
Like,
Yo, like straight okay, so when I said gap, the gap's getting bigger. I didn't mean like the 1% gap argument thing. I meant the gap between what things cost versus how much like minimum wages, because I remember my dad being like, when he started at AMP, this like the grocery store that he was working like at high school, when he started there and he was getting full time, he was getting paid like $2.50 an hour or something, right? And that was like good. Like that was
Dude,
good, dude. In the
I
'70s.
know that
how old
exactly.
is your dad?
Yeah, dude. Was your dad born in 1891, bro? Like, was he
But
fucking?
that's
Was he
not.
buying? Was his mortgage on his house $28? Like, fuck, dude.
No, but seriously, like it was, maybe, and then it went up to 3, and then 9. Inflation grew. Like the inflation's grown so much. Like, man, like cars were not like in the '50s and '40s and stuff. Like if you look at like the comparison of what things cost versus how much people were making back then, like that's what the whole inflation is. Like if you rewind the inflation back, like there's got to be some way to like readjust that again, so like the dollar is worth more, and because the dollar is
Yeah,
losing
but
value, right? That's what the inflation is.
Do you guys know how inflation works and why the dollar is losing value?
I mean, I went to business school, so I do understand it. But at this could is a direct moment. I mean, like my thing in regards to that is like, well, first off, Jake, why don't you, if you do know, tell us.
I'm not an economist or an expert or anything, but just off the top of my head, I would think the way it works is because there is so much debt for like a nation. So, say Canada. Canada's got debts because the government spends X amount of dollars and they're in the hole. So, they have to borrow more money from places like the Federal Reserve or the central bank of their country. And then the central bank or the IMF or whatever institution they're borrowing from lends them the money and then attaches interest to it. So then, in order to pay back the money and pay back the interest, the cost of goods and stuff goes up so that they can charge more. And also because the dollar's devalued more based upon how much they've borrowed and how much they owe and how much their currency is valued in relation to like whatever the standard is. So right now, I think it's the American dollar.
Yeah. So my take and kind of what I'm like, that again, it seems more like a governmental issue and like an issue that
Yeah.
like it should be taken care of by people that are in quote unquote in charge. And that's why, like, again, I'm not trying to, people are going to listen to this and be like, dude, what is wrong with Jackson? Episode 1 or 2, the guy defends Bill Gates, and then episode 10 he's in Jeff Bezos corner. But I'm not, I'm just saying,
One
from it,
percenter.
I know, dude, like what a privileged piece of garbage this guy is. I'm just saying, from the other side of it, like the conversation that we have all the time about life being a game, like let's look at it from this perspective. If like life's a game, and it's not, but like in certain aspects we've talked about how it is, and the game is capitalism, dude. Like that's what we're all playing, whether you like it or not, whether you want to be a part of it or not. Like it's the concept and the idea of what we're doing. And so like, are we kind of not a little bit just like sitting in the lobby with a guy who gets 100 kills every round being like, fuck this guy, although like that guy's
Yeah.
just good at the game, dude. Like, sorry, he's just good at the game. Like, what do you want him to do, not play as much? Like, he loves the game, he wants to play it. Like, yeah, I agree, he's a fucking dirtbag, he comes in here and gets 100 kills every round, but like, if I don't like it, I'm gonna go play a different game. And I mean, unfortunately, in life, you can't. That's the, I guess, the side where it's like everyone, you
Yeah, but
either have to
you can
get
get
in
like
or get out.
you could get like a different job though.
Exactly. I think that's where like the freedom to do what you want then switches it all around to, dude, it's a mindset. Like,
Yeah.
it comes down to somewhat of like, how is your you don't have to like it. You can hate the fact that these guys have amassed like this level of wealth, or that they're bad guys, or that there's always shady shit going on and this and that in the world. But at the end of the day, like, are you gonna let it take over your whole life, or are you just gonna like have an opinion on it and move on?
Well, when you say that the country's in debt, or that it's the government's responsibility is to ensure like their constituents, which are the people that like vote them into power, are being served by like social programs and policies that like serve their best interest. And then it is like partially the responsibility of the rich in that society to take the profits they're making and reinvest it back into society. I think a big problem with some of these big one percenters is they're being taxed at such a low rate that it's not even making a dent, which would go back into the economy for those social programs, for those whatever things that would benefit the average person. They are not only finding loopholes to avoid the taxes that they're being charged at a very, I would say, generous interest rate, which should be a lot higher, but they're actually finding like offshore tax havens to avoid paying tax on like money that they make. Like there's a lot of shady shit going on, and there's a lot more to it than just the surface. But in the 50s and 60s in the States, the tax rate on the upper like 10% or whatever was like in the 80 or 90%, and they were very prosperous. That was like the most prosperous economic time of the States. So there's something to be
I
said. Like
mean,
a
they
lot of
were
rich people
also
want
coming
to be
out of
taxed.
like 2 world wars, and people were just pumped to be like not having to fight. Like, and I'm sure that plays somewhat into the surge of business and economy and stuff. But I think you're right for sure that like, but I don't know, man. I just keep having this continual thought that whether it's like politically correct or not, like all that stuff again just sounds like they're kind of just playing the game and playing it really well. And I know that that's just shitty. Like, I don't like it either, but I think that like, if it was to ever change on a dramatic front in our world today, like that would be revolt and revolution. I think is the only way that that would ever actually come apart, like, and like I don't know if we want that, do we?
No.
Like, I don't want to fight in a war, dude.
Hell no. Fuck that noise.
And like,
Well,
I want to live in a better place, but like it's not that bad right now.
depends who you are, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's the reality of life. That's kind of always perhaps how it's been. It's just easier to have that understanding of different perspectives now, right? And I think that because of that, with all the bad or whatever negative going on in the world that we see so much, like there's also the fact that we can just see that in general. Like we're able to, like we weren't able to see that in previous, decades in
Well,
history.
yeah, the internet, dude. Like that's exactly what the internet did for. I think that's why there's so much like political correctness and like so much social justice work that's been, especially in the past year, of course, and then going back even the past couple decades, and kind of in the '90s and stuff. Like there's just been this continual progression of this sharing of information, and then more and more people are starting to go like, oh, wait a minute. I don't like that. That doesn't work. or oh wait a minute, that's not fair, or you know what I mean, and then social
Yeah.
media just compounds that, right, and just amplifies. So that's why we get eat the rich. Do you think like
I'm
salt and pepper or
No, dude, you sear them up and then you just a little bit of steak sauce on the side and yum, 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 yum. That's all you need.
MSG and tax breaks. Um,
Yeah. Um, but yeah, dude, and I think that this is a question I got for you guys from what we were just saying. Do you think, and I think that in my like, I think that, do you think in 100, 200, whatever, 500 years down the road, they'll look back and view human history on either side of like the internet? Because like that really to me is like, there's like the industrial revolution, there's like the cultural revolutions of like art and all these things coming out, but like I don't think you can even call the internet a revolution as much as it just changed everything.
do you think what about
game
like
changer for sure.
what about like a globalization revolution or something like that?
Yeah, but I think that it just, I don't know, it gave like it changed. I mean, yeah, I guess that's what revolutions do, they change everything, right? But I think in my mind, like it's so hard to compare stuff that people like the way of life before and the way of life after, in the way that it impacts everything, like even from like having to grow and find your own food to like ordering hot dogs off Amazon. Like
Yeah.
that ain't
Well,
the
the
same
internet
thing.
definitely changes a lot of things in our trajectory going forward, and like it's a good segue in some ways, I guess, because I was watching Ex Machina. Have you guys ever seen that?
Bro, it's one of my
Mhm.
favorite movies.
Oh my god, ridiculous movie. So, and like it brings to my mind like one of the ways he made that artificial intelligence was by mining his blue book, which is basically like their version of Google for like all the information that people share and all the searches they did in order just to like inform that brain that they put inside of her. And I think that there's like some crazy trajectory that we're heading on as far as technology is just going like a runaway train. And like, when do we kind of hit the pause button and say, is this for the better? Like, there's no way to stop it. Like, we're already there. But like, are we getting close to the singularity here? Where in like 20
Dude,
years, we're going to be in some
dude.
trouble with fucking Terminator style shit?
Yeah, man. I think that like it's so like that seems so possible now, where like I feel like even 3 years ago you'd be like, "Pff, yeah, right, dude." And now, I mean, maybe that's just because I wasn't open to it as much, but like the first thing that comes to mind when you refer to like Ex Machina and the way that he was able to download essentially a consciousness off of what the blue book like Google was, is like, do you guys know like deep fake, like what deep fake is?
Yes.
So
I've
just,
heard the term, yeah.
it's essentially like I can get like say I can get like a 10,000 pictures of Joe, right? From like, say if Joe is like an actor or whatever, and his picture was all over the place, or like, and I can go out and essentially find a body type that's close enough to Joe's, and then through this like software, however they do it, you can edit it so that like it puts Joe's face onto this body, and as like the film and the person in the film makes like different facial gestures and motions, like and smiles and frowns and whatever, the computer finds images of Joe doing the same facial emotions and like strings it all together so that it essentially looks like you can have a video of like Joe walking into like a gas station and robbing the gas station and leaving, and Joe was like across the other side of the world at the time it took place. You know what I mean? Like it's, you can put people in different places and all that kind of stuff. And so that's essentially what that does. Like that right now is just on like a screen version, right? Like you can make videos or tracks or whatever. But like when you can actually put that into a functioning thing where like you ask it a question and it can filter every possible response and then understand what kind of context you're coming at and why you're asking it in that way and what time of day it is and all this stuff, and give you an answer, like that's a lot closer than I think anybody even at times recognizes, like we're already kind of there to an extent.
Well, and like all the money that these Zuckerbergs and Bezos have, they got to have some like, backroom projects that we definitely don't know about. And like, I guess Elon Musk is like the perfect example of what somebody with that type of money would do in an open like conversation setting, because he ain't hiding anything. He's building rockets to go to the fucking moon. He's building hyperloops. He's got fucking electric cars and all that shit.
Dude, the
But the
guy.
guys that don't talk about it, it's like, what are you doing?
Yo,
Like,
I got something for
I
you guys.
know. But then, sorry.
Go for it.
Okay,
Yeah,
go
I
ahead,
got.
Joe.
Well,
No, I was just gonna say it. But then, like, what if those guys are just weirdos, man? Like, what if they're just weird
they
dudes?
got to be doing something with their money. Come on.
Yeah,
What
no,
if they're the most boring
for
fuckers in the world.
But then when you see them on like $100 million yachts, it's like, oh yeah, that's what they're doing with their money.
But he pisses that away in a day. He could probably set a bonfire of hundreds and not even fucking blink an eye.
yeah, yo,
That'd be
couple. Well,
nice.
I one quick thing about I watched about like a pile of money. I watched a YouTube channel that's like film theory. I don't know if you guys heard of film theory before. No.
Theory of films.
No, well, it's like this guy that's he's a really big popular he's a really big popular YouTube guy. And he's an influencer and he's got this great channel. It's called Film Theory. Check it out. He called the end of Game of Thrones like a couple years in advance by using like yeah, you guys can check him out. He's really cool. But anyway, long story short, the most recent one that he did was how rich is the Joker in The Dark Knight Rises, and turns out he is a multi-billionaire because that pot. Do you guys remember that scene where he's got the big pile of money and he like lights it on fire?
Yeah,
The
one
dude,
of the best scenes of all time.
yo, this guy, he like calculates how thick a bill is, and then calculates how many stacks of hundreds there are, and then does the math on the like length and width of the stack, and it's like upwards of several billions and billions of dollars, and he just lights it on fire because he's like he does it for fun. So in order for to have that amount of money, like he'd have to be a billionaire. But that was another.
He lights it on fire because he doesn't give a shit about capitalism.
Yeah,
and
I don't know
right.
about the billionaire theory. I think he's
Well-
just an anarchist.
Well,
yeah,
here,
he's like, some people just want to see the world burn, man.
that's true, but like, so humor me for a second and kind of follow what he was saying is like, in order for the if this is the case, like obviously it's a fun theory, right? That's the whole point of the videos is they're fun theories. But if this was the case, then it would mean that in order for him to have that amount of money, and because of the robberies and all the anarchy that he's done, he would have to be extremely ordered and extremely organized, right? Which I think is such an amazing contrast to like the whole chaos that he's supposed to embody. So like I thought that was really cool. I thought that
But
was
they
really
explain how. Yeah, I agree. But they like, I don't know. How did you like the Joker though? Like the
thought it was
movie.
a bit slow paced, but I think that's what it was going for. It was definitely like a good dramatic piece and like an insight into.
It was kind of like Tarantino-esque, how it was like a slow crawl the whole time, and then just like one dramatic bang moment.
Yeah,
Like,
Joaquin Phoenix is a hell of an actor.
Oh, dude, I just thought I loved it because I thought it was such a good, it was such a good display of just like he wasn't like a super villain in the sense that like he had like any sort of like out of this world crazy like powers or whatever. It was just like to me it just kind of displayed like human consciousness and how like the mental mind can be a demon within itself, you know.
Whew.
His mental illness kind of reminded me of the mother in Requiem for a Dream watching the game show.
Oh yeah, I've never seen Requiem for a Dream. That's one of the that's on the
Never seen
list.
What are you saying? I can't you gotta just go say it a little bit slower. The what for a dream?
It's called Requiem for a Dream. It's a movie.
Requiem for a dream. I'll have to check
You guys
that
have
out.
never seen that, eh?
No.
It's like all about different people's experience with the free fall of drug use.
Oh.
And his mother goes into a downward spiral with I think it's opiates or like prescription drugs, and she starts seeing stuff that's not real, and she keeps envisioning herself on this game show with Shooter McGavin as the host. It's
Yeah,
a trip, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is crazy.
yo guys, check it out. So before I went on that tangent, I got this website up from Tech Talks, and it's a blog by Kayla Matthews, and it was published January 22nd this year, 2020.
Shout out Kayla.
Shout out Kayla. And it's how will robotics be used in 2020? And here's 7 ways. So one of them is cognitive automation. So at the meeting point between computing and artificial intelligence, cognitive automation employs tools such as language processing, data mining, and semantic technology. So it makes sense of large organized pools of data. So it's basically letting it understand how to communicate linguistically like humans do. So there's that one.
So that's a fact. Suck on that. Next.
Excellent.
Give me more information. Give it to me.
Safety and security. Robotic process automation is a practice of automating. I was just hitting my throat when I was doing that. Humans get distracted or tired, leading to mistakes that could cause either physical injury or whatever. So this delegates more straightforward, mundane tasks to robotic assets. So safety and security is going to be more robotic heavy. Warehouse stuff. So anything going on in a warehouse, self-driving cars. So iRobot stuff kind of thing.
Dude, yeah. Sorry, not to interrupt, but the a practical use of this, I'm pretty sure I heard that at like the Pentagon or the White House, they have this technology where they can the camera can either, it looks at like your heartbeat and it's able to identify like who you are based on your heartbeat.
Wow.
For people that like work at the Pentagon.
Ooh, that's kind of tasty, because then that would mean that like your heart has a sort of, I guess, music that is like unique to you.
Yeah, that like have you ever had an EKG done?
No.
It just like it's where they like hook you up with all these sensors. Like they put like probably like 16 sensors on your body, and they like track your heartbeat. And yeah, like everyone's looks different. It's very, very unique.
That's cool. Number 6, supplementing retail. Supplementing retail. So I guess that would be basically like the the self cash out stuff, checkout stuff, but monotonous jobs and data driven is. But here's the big one, number 7, which is healthcare. So tests have indicated that doctors can perform robotic surgery more than 1,000 miles away from their patients, dude. Like, think about that. Like if you could like if you could like FaceTime your doctor, but like this is a thing, and they can have robots control the robots and do surgery on you. Could like you know what that implicates though? That means that like if you can get the doctor that could save your life, that's in say Ottawa, then he could actually perform on you if they have the robots there that he can control.
It's definitely world changing. But call me old fashioned. I would like the doctor in the room when he's cutting me open, please.
Yeah.
But I also support the technology of it.
Yeah, so that's a little nugget of what's going on in this year in robotics. That's just a tip of the iceberg, I imagine.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but in the news there was a story recently, and we seem to talk about him a lot on the podcast. But shout out Elon Musk again. Apparently, he's got. You guys heard of this brain chip that he's got?
Yeah, dude.
I have not heard. What's
so he was saying like he initially like was saying that you could stream music like directly to your brain, but apparently he's making claims as of like a week and a half ago that his mysterious brain chip could cure depression and addiction in people. It's both great and terrifying, he says.
Yeah, dude. I seen something that it has to do with like the way that it's able to like it can like shock your brain. And like the idea is that like you have neurons in your brain that like send chemicals that give you those feelings, and then like that relates to your whole body, and that's why like when you feel depressed, you like it's a physical feeling as well as like a mental feeling.
Right.
And he basically like hormones.
Yeah, like exactly like hormones. And he basically says like you can just shock your body as soon as it starts to like make that chemical reaction in your brain that happens. He's like, you can basically just shock your brain and reset it to not feel that way.
Apparently, they say they developed a sewing machine-like device capable of connecting brains directly to computers.
Why would it be a sewing machine?
I don't know. That's probably just an analogy they made.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm like, there's such a part of me that's so deeply in on all this stuff. And then there's that like skeptic part of me that's like, wow, why you want to go in my brain?
Check this tastiness out too. Apparently, he said in the short term, it'll be used to treat brain diseases such as Parkinson's, while long-term ambitions for the technology include allowing humans to compete with artificial intelligence. and he hopes to achieve some sort of symbiosis with AI to agree that would make human language obsolete. This could occur within the next 5 to 10 years. You wouldn't need to talk. You would be able to communicate very quickly and with far more precision.
See, I wouldn't like that because, like, what if I'm just having a thought walking down the road and someone like is able to connect? Like, when you try and airdrop something and you just have random people's phones popping up on your phone. Like, what
Yeah.
if people were just airdropping their thoughts into my brain, or therefore seeing my thought? I don't know about that.
Yeah, and apparently such an eventuality is not entirely far-fetched according to leading scientists in the field of brain-computer interfaces. They outlined how neural interfaces could allow people to communicate silently by reading each other's minds.
Yeah, I'm gonna need.
Count me out.
Yeah, I mean that one. I'm gonna need some. Like probably at least 5 years of proof before I bite on that.
Well, like, what if it was like something you could do for like a fun weekend or something?
Let's go to Mind Reader Alley.
Yeah, it wasn't like all the time.
What if Apple sold it? Would you trust it? What if it was like iPhones, Apple Watches, MacBooks, and Brain Chip? Would you bite? Dude, I'm such a bad consumer that I actually would buy it if Amazon or if Apple sold it.
Yeah.
That's how dumb I am, dude. That's how much I think that that Apple has my best interest in mind. That if they sold it, I'd be like, well, it can't be that bad.
Yeah, let's take a bite of that forbidden apple, shall we?
Yeah, let's just see. I mean, if anything bad happens, I can sue them, right?
Yeah, you just gotta think about
yeah,
it and get the fucking report.
They'll zap your brain into unthinking about that.
Shit.
Anytime you have a negative thought about Apple, they'll just zap your brain to just eliminate the thought.
That's where it gets scary.
So we're gonna count this one out of the segments because it's not an official question. But let me just ask you:
Yes.
Would you rather get the brain chip implanted in you by Elon Musk or be injected with a vaccination from Bill Gates?
I would take the brain chip because I feel like the vaccine I'm just gonna do anyways. I'm already sold on vaccines.
I'm already sold on
That wasn't
vaccines
serious.
too. Yeah, I'm already sold on vaccines too. So I'm thinking I'm gonna be like, I'm just gonna get you to force me to take it, and that way I don't have to have a brain chip.
It's not the vaccine itself; it's who's administering it. Where's the source, boys?
Bill Gates stares into you with his dark, beady eyes as he injects a needle into your arm.
Yeah, right in the tip of your
I don't
dick.
I love you.
Why don't you buy Windows anymore?
No, Bill Gates.
Dude, yeah, I feel like at this point in society, if you're rich, you're just if you're that rich, at least you're just instantly a shit guy.
Yeah, we definitely rag on them quite a bit, but you know what? They're interesting, prolific figures, and there's a lot of mystery and a lot of.
Well, people know how I feel about them, so
Yeah, I would like to like have a conversation with some of the, like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to actually know, are they like actually just dudes? Or
dude, let's rank Jeff Bezos. How quickly we're gonna get pulled off of everything for this, but let's rank Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, and Elon Musk from normalest to weirdest. So like 1 is normal, 3 is the weirdest. Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah.
Elon Musk seems the most normal. Like, I feel like if I was a mega billionaire, I wouldn't be him exactly, but I'd be closest to him. And then I think 2 is Jeff Bezos, and then Mark Zuckerberg is a straight up lizard human. So that's my opinion.
I don't know. From what I know about them, I'd say Zuckerberg's the most normal because he seems like an actually normal guy. Elon Musk is eccentric as shit, and like he believes some crazy stuff, but he's also a mad scientist. So I give him number 2. And Jeff Bezos, nobody knows anything about the guy, so he seems like he'd be like the introverted kind of. He wouldn't say anything more than like one word every 20 minutes, and he would just stare into your soul.
And just snatch it out of you.
Yeah,
if he wanted to.
Like, I mean,
how much money?
I mean, yeah, I'm on par with both of you guys' answers. Really, like, I don't know that much about Jeff Bezos at all. I'm just looking at a picture of him right now, and Like, I mean, I guess so. It looks like
Wow,
it just.
man.
On a
It's
scale of 1 to 3,
It's
how
pretty,
creeped out
it's
are
pretty
you?
judgmental of you, man.
It's just, well, he's got some nice like smiles and stuff, and like he's, I don't know. There's one picture where he's looking kind of cockeyed, but I'd like to let's have a
Just his lazy
conversation,
eye.
Bezos.
Yeah, Joe's
Like,
just chirping this guy's lazy eye, going after his actual physical traits now. Okay.
dude, like
Okay.
if you
I
want
support
people to
it.
know how you are, Bezos, we're gonna join us. We'll have you on as a guest. Far fetched
Could
idea,
you,
but
could you imagine, dude,
Holy shit.
if we had Jeff Bezos as our first guest on the podcast? So, Jeff, what do you do? What do you do with all of your trillions of dollars?
Yeah.
He's like, I build secret layers with sharks with freaking laser beams attached to their heads.
Speaking of Bezos, his we should give credit where credit's due with the one percenters. So his wife got a giant chunk in that divorce settlement, and I guess she gave away like 1.2 billion of it already. And I'm pretty sure they just divorced like not even a year ago. So shout out to what is it, Mackenzie Bezos?
Yeah.
Keep doing your thing.
Keep
It's
donating
Mackenzie Scott now, apparently.
1.2 of your, what'd she get? 500 billion.
Holy
And you think
Not
she
that
was?
much, but
You think she was in there when he was in the garage, like hustling, trying to sell books? You think she was in there hustling with him, or was she like, Jeff, get a real job, you fucking loser! Stop selling books out of our garage.
You're never
I
gonna
don't think you
make
need
it.
to physically support the person. Maybe she did it emotionally and gave him some
She did it physically.
some slack.
Oh, she definitely helped out along the process. I'm just saying, was she a hater in the early days? You think?
I don't know. Maybe we should have her on the podcast and ask her.
Yeah,
If you guys want a chance to tell your story, come on the See What Sticks podcast
love it.
and let the world know what really happened.
Yeah. In other notes, did you catch any of the hockey that was on? What was it,
Oh,
yesterday?
dude, I'm such a happy little boy on Christmas. Jackson is in his pajamas at 4 o'clock in the morning, running to his parents' room and running downstairs. I am that excited as a 26-year-old man right now.
Watching
hockey
in the summer too, which is like
Oh, it's amazing. It's exhibition hockey, and I'm watching. I've watched every single game that I can watch. So
Yeah, I caught a bit of it. It was strangely odd to see it at this time of year, but it was very refreshing, and I welcomed it back.
yes, dude.
Arms.
And I will say, weirdly enough, man, like, and this is kind of the consensus feeling that I'm getting from like people and like broadcasters and stuff and hockey folk. It really doesn't look that bad. Like, dude, you watch a baseball game with no fans, and it is painful, man. Even the basketball, because like the fans are so close to the courts normally while the game's going on, you know, and like MLB, you can see them everywhere. But in hockey, like this kind of like I don't know if you guys have watched the outdoor games that they've had over like the past. They started it in like I don't know 2000. I want to say like 2008. They started doing outdoor games, but it kind of just looks like an outdoor game, like with no
Yeah, I
fans.
dabble.
Yeah, I
It's
think,
I don't think it's as needed as in some sports. Like, have you ever seen UFC with no fans? You can hear a pin drop in there, and it's kind of cool because you can hear the corners giving advice like super clearly, but you can also hear like Joe Rogan and Goldberg going on the play for play or play by play, and the fighters can hear them like crystal clear, so they like adapt their game plans to what they're hearing from Joe Rogan and them.
oh yeah, dude. That I haven't watched any UFC yet, but how was like Fight Island? Did that all go good? Did
Yeah,
you
it
wa-
seemed to. I haven't seen much of the footage, like because I have UFC Fight Pass, but you can't watch it like live. You have to wait like a week.
Oh,
So
okay.
I've seen the first set of fights, and I think they're just in the books with the third event there. But it seems to be about as well as you can be in the COVID world, and I'm surprised that they were able to like orchestrate this as well as they have with the limited resources and like all the red tape, I would say, to surround it. It's a good product.
Yeah, yeah. I think the NHL. I mean, I think the NHL and UFC are right now kind of like the two that have done it really well. The MLB, dude, is the MLB and the NBA is getting dumped on, man, for the way they've done it. Um,
In what aspect?
The MLB players were just upset because like I don't feel like they didn't feel like I think I might be wrong, but I think the MLB teams are still like traveling and stuff. Like they're going to play games and like the players just don't feel like their safety has been like a top priority, a part of the whole thing. And then the NBA, they're in like a bubble like the NHL too, but they're in Orlando. They're doing it at Disney World, like because there's a bunch of hotels and stuff there, so all the players can like and all the teams can be around each other and playing their games there. And I guess players are just like upset because like I guess the food hasn't been super good and like some of the hotel amenities and stuff they've been complaining about, um, which is like
Oh
you
no, I'm
know
getting paid millions of dollars. How dare
yeah.
you give me anything less than filet mignon? No, I'm probably like totally exaggerating. But
No, but it's kind of a little bit true. It's like, listen, like, come on. Like, but again, it's just, it's the understanding of like when you're used to lifestyle A and then you get given lifestyle B, like you're going to complain about things, right? But it's just like, dude,
well,
it's just,
shout out to the. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
no, no, go ahead. Shout out. I love shout outs.
Well, I was gonna say shout out to the NHL for doing it the right way because I mean you got two hub cities. You have a large amount. Well, I guess relative to the other leagues, you have a large amount of Canadian teams, even though it's only like 1/3 of the league at best. But they're really considering like most of the market is in Canada, and you are prioritizing player safety by limiting it to one or two cities, no matter how big your league is, versus traveling and coming in and out of airports. Like I would probably feel pretty unsafe if I was with the NBA players or
Yeah.
MLB.
And like, and I don't know the details on that for sure with the MLB. But yeah, dude, the NHL has definitely done it good. And I mean, it's sweet, man. It's kind of like a little bit of a shout out to Canada too, because, Canada's handled it much better than the states and not only the states, a lot of other countries too. You know, Canada's gotten a lot of recognition for their level of just being on top of it as much as I guess you can be. But um, yeah, the NHL definitely. I knock on wood whenever I say this because I'm like, man, I just hope that nothing derails it because it's so fun. Like, so fun turning on the like. There's like today I think there was 6 games and there's like yesterday there was 3 games starting on Saturday. There's gonna be 6 games a day for like 6 days. Like, it's just it's awesome.
Time to be alive.
It is
Who
a
do you?
dude.
Who? Okay, number one, who do you cheer for? How do you think their chances are if they're even in the playoffs? And then B, who do you think the like top two teams are from each conference, or who do you think is going to take it
Yeah,
all?
because I want to make some bets here. So
Okay,
Give us
okay.
some
Um, well, just off the top, I do have a definite personal bias with the Oilers because my dad works for them. So I mean, if they win, if they do well, I personally benefit from it. So it's I obviously am always cheering for them. Plus, they're such a fun team to watch. Like they have like arguably the 2 best players in the league, if not two of like the top. Yeah, for sure. So, and they're just electric, dude. Like, and in this type of tournament, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to win. You got to win as many games as you have to win to win the cup. But the way it's set up, I just think that for those types of players like a McDavid and a Draisaitl, when if they start feeling good and they're playing games every second day and they're on a hot streak kind of thing, like those guys can just get on rolls that carry teams, and that's happened in playoffs before and can happen again. So out of the gate, I would love to see the Oilers go deep and potentially compete for it at the end. But um, I'd say out of the West, the biggest, like they call them wagons in hockey, the biggest like teams that have a chance of going for it is probably Colorado and I mean St. Louis won it last year. They have a really good team. So probably in the West would be Colorado, St. Louis. And then out east, Washington has a really good team. Pittsburgh, I don't know. Pittsburgh's kind of an underdog this year, but they definitely can always win because again, they're like Edmonton. Like they have the two guys in Malkin and Crosby that can just change a game single handedly. But if I had to take a shot of the dark and make a pick, not on my personal bias, taking Oilers out of it, I would say my money would be on the Avalanche. Colorado.
Yeah, they're looking scary. They're a youthful team. They got speed on like at least 3 lines, multiple superstar players, great goalie.
Yeah.
I'm looking at them as like the I don't want to say dark horse because they're definitely in the contention for like favorite now, with everybody just realizing how deep and scary their team is and how fast they're built.
Mm-hmm.
So I like them in the West. I also like Vegas just because I don't know what it is. Every season they just come to play when it matters most. And when you look at their goalies, like they picked up Robin Lehner
Mm-hmm.
to back up Marc-Andre Fleury. So if they ever have one of them not playing up to par, they got like 1A, 1B that they can go to. And then St. Louis is always going to be strong. I think that they were kind of lucky to win last year, and lucky is a bit of a harsh word because they definitely worked their asses off and deserved to win, and they played a hell of a run there. But they got taken to the limit by my boys, the Stars, and
Ooh.
they're looking pretty scary this year too. But I'd say they're a dark horse for sure.
Yeah.
I hope that they do well, and if they put in the performance they did last year and just get a couple lucky bounces, who knows? But out east, my or in the West still, Edmonton. I think that they got two of the best players in the whole thing, but I don't think they're deep enough. I think they're going to get exposed, much like the Maple Leafs will.
Mm.
In the East, I'm thinking Tampa Bay is always scary. I think they got that shock sweep last year that kind of bitch slapped them upside the head. I'm not leaning at them for one of the top two. I'm looking at Boston to be scary with like the best line in hockey. And then I'm looking at Philadelphia just being one of the hottest teams going in. I think they were like 13-2 to end the season. And then they got probably the youngest team in the East as far as one of the top teams. So
Dude,
that's who I'm going with if you're placing bets.
that was a thorough breakdown, dude. Well
Love
done.
it.
I gotta give you mad props. You pulled out teams from both sides that I didn't even think about, but I'm like, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the beauty of it, dude. Like I think the level of like anyone's got a shot is obviously never been closer in general in hockey as it is like now, but with this style tournament, man, like everyone's healthy, everyone's had 5 months rest, which is like they've been working out, and like guys who could get on the ice skating and stuff, but um that's it's essentially like a restart, but yet instead of having to play 82 games, they're just getting right into the cup, which is like
Yeah. That's kind of cool from a health perspective that you talked about, because not many people are thinking about that. We're gonna get to hopefully see like the best version of every team because they got to nurse all the injuries and be at full health going into the thing. And
Yeah.
another thing that like kind of bewilders me is people discounting whoever wins as like calling it the COVID Cup, and like it's kind of like, who cares who wins? They're not a real winner. Like, I don't believe that shit. You still got to go through the grind. Everyone's on the same playing field, as fucked up as it is. And somebody's going to win, and they definitely deserve it. And I can't wait to watch because it's,
Yeah.
dude,
the other thing about the NHL, sorry, Joe, I'll let you jump in here. But the other thing about the NHL that I don't think people give enough credit to in comparison to the other leagues is like how much parity there is. And from one year to the next, like any team 1 to 8 has a good chance to win if they get on a hot streak, which I can't say like NBA. You look at, there's a couple teams like the Golden States and the Lakers, and then there's the rest of them.
yeah.
Shout out to Toronto though; they pulled it together.
Yeah, dude, yeah, but then again, like they needed to get Kawhi Leonard, who was like arguably top 3, 5 best players in the league, right? And I think that's the thing that with the NBA, 1 or 2, 3 for sure. If you can get 3 superstars, you pretty much throw your hat in the ring. Where hockey, it to me really is like the ultimate team sport, right? Like if you have one line who plays exceptional, that can win you a couple games or a bunch of games in the regular season. But come playoffs, man, like you need every single guy on the team at least buying in and like playing at, and that's the thing about playoff hockey at the NHL level is every guy on every team is doing that. And it ultimately, dude, it comes down to bounces. It comes down to momentum. And like your Dallas Stars last year, they took the Blues to 7. And like,
Yeah, and they had it. They were up 3-2 going into Game 6. They had Game 6 in the bag, and then they fucking dropped the ball hard. And I was screaming at my TV. And then we had a chance still at home in Game 7, and they blew it.
yeah,
So
and
push
that's
them
what,
to the brink. But
but that's what I mean, right? Like St. Louis, And I think no one I mean, Dallas was a good team last year, but they probably had the same going into playoffs. They had the same expectation as St. Louis, right? Like no one really expected either one of them to win the cup, and
For
they
sure.
both had a very real shot at it. So it's awesome, dude. Like I
You know
just
what else is awesome? Is the unsung hero syndrome. Like the Justin Williams of the world that come out of fucking nowhere come playoff time. You're like,
oh, it's the
where was
best.
this guy?
Guys just eat and breathe. There's certain guys who just like they just the level of the games, the meaning of the games overtake, and they find another gear. But Joe, do you have any hot takes?
Not really. Like, I mean, I don't really follow sports that much, but I thought I was just wanted to comment on how interesting it was that, thinking about it in terms of like health. Um, there's the guy from the NBA though, that reminds me, like, just on the last topic you were saying, is like, you never know who's going to, like, in the last round suddenly just become a superstar. And I'm getting his name wrong. He was in, he played for the Raptors and helped them win last year.
It wasn't Kawhi Leonard, was it?
No, it was
Yeah, it was Leonard.
Powell.
No, it was Leonard, right? Like he just gets that one. Like nobody really took the guy that seriously until
That can't be Kawhi Leonard, no.
No, dude, Kawhi Leonard
He's
was
real deal,
like one of the
day
best
in, day out.
players, arguably LeBron James. Like he pretty much, obviously, like Kyle Lowry's been in Toronto for a long time. I forget his first name, but Powell. Then they got I think they might have traded Valanciunas actually.
Well,
But
I thought that he was always good, but people were just sleeping on him until he just pulled everything together in like a lot of the later games.
No, the thing about Kawhi is that he took the season before that off for injury.
Mhm.
There was this big controversy surrounding him about whether he dogged it and didn't come back as soon as he could, and did he give up on the team. So everybody was like downplaying what he would do when he got to Toronto, but the guy hit the ground running from game one of the regular season. He sat a couple games out here and there to like make sure he was rested for playoffs, and come playoffs he was the best player on the court for both teams, like almost every game he played.
Yeah, that's kind of what I
and
mean, I guess.
Yeah, and here's the beauty of like what I think Toronto did so well with Kawhi Leonard is, like you said, he sat out a year, which is crazy when you think about professional sports, right? Like a guy who's in the prime of his career sitting out a full year when he could have, they say, rehabbed and been back a lot sooner. And he just said for two reasons, like sit it out and get better, but also because if like he didn't want to have a bad year and have it affect because like he was a free agent, right? So he could go sign wherever he wanted. Um, and but no, the Raptors ended up trading for him. And did they sign him or they just traded for him?
They traded for him. They
Yeah.
like mortgaged their best player and a bunch of picks, and they like sold the farm to get him, knowing that he might only stay for 1 year, and he
did,
stayed
yeah.
for 1 year.
But
But if you ask any Raptors fan, will you take that 1 year where he took you to the promised land for the next 10 years of mediocrity? The answer is yes.
yeah, 100%, dude, 100%. And that's the thing of why Kawhi Leonard will go down in history in Toronto is because there's not a lot of NBA cities that the answer to that is yes.
Dude, it was
what's-
madness. It was absolute madness. I was working
But dude-
downtown on Front Street when he like with the the last game when they won, and people like it stormed. There was thousands of people that just I think there was probably like the place that I was working at holds about 700 people. It was full, max capacity. Everybody's standing. They probably even went a little over max capacity, and then everyone just completely cleaned house. Like within 10 minutes, everybody was gone and out on the streets flipping cars and like,
madness.
yeah, it was crazy.
Dude, yeah, but that's so like Canadian sports to just be like, you know what? No one say one bad word about this guy. Like, dude, nobody even cared, dude. Like after he won a championship, I'm pretty sure everyone was like, yeah, he's not resigning here. Like he was, I mean, not vocal about it, but he was pretty clear that he wanted to go back, and he's from California and stuff, so he wanted to go back and like play there, which is like, it's so funny though, because like, Kevin Durant, like all these guys who left places, LeBron James left Cleveland, went back to Cleveland, left Cleveland, and just like the sour taste in people's mouth for like the athletes that did that. And then Kawhi Leonard, like wins Toronto championship, leaves, and no one has one bad word to say about him. They're all just like, no man, we love you.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
there's just a lot of like, ah, damn
Exactly.
it.
It's like, no, we can't be mad.
Two crazy things about that whole situation. One is that, in an age of the NBA where everyone's leaving that team that drafted them or leaving the team that's pretty good but not amazing to go to a super team with like 2 or 3 other guys at their level to try and win, he did the opposite. He went to a team that had good players, but nobody like superstar level, maybe Kyle Lowry, but even then, I think we're being a bit generous with that term. And they just play good team ball from top to bottom. They got a great coach, and he just went there and put in the work, and they pulled it off. And then the other crazy thing is the guy was only there for a year. Like you said, everybody was like, okay, go ahead and leave. We're not going to say anything bad about you, but he will go down as the greatest player in Raptor history, having only played one season.
That's so true, and no one will argue that, dude. I think like Vince Carter had like the wow factor.
Yeah, we had some good players, but like shout out to DeRozan, shout out to Carter, but they ain't Kawhi Leonard. They didn't bring us the championship.
Dude, no, and they're not the Claw.
And like he didn't do it alone. Like Fred VanVleet stepped it up. Marc Gasol stepped it up.
I was looking for Fred VanVleet.
Pascal Siakam stepped it up.
Yeah. But no, dude, it's awesome, and I think that like that's so big for Toronto, dude. I think anytime Canada wins something, it's such a like a countrywide feeling of like, yes, we did it.
They were so long suffering too, and like we're deprived in the whole country of like a championship. We can't buy a Stanley Cup, so
we got it. Dude, we got a chance. The NHL is literally putting it in 2 Canadian cities, being like, "Come on."
Yeah, you got a home field advantage throughout the whole thing. Yeah.
We're gonna let you guys. We're gonna let you guys all play. Every Canadian team is in. You guys have a chance at it.
So who do you think's got the best chance out of the Canadian teams? I know you're gonna say Edmonton, but
I don't know, dude. I think that going down the list, like Winnipeg, I don't think like Winnipeg just had a tough bounce on their defense. They lost a bunch of good guys. They brought in some good, decent players, but I don't think they're deep enough to make a run at it. But they could surprise everyone. They got good goaltending and some good forwards. Montreal, I don't think they got it. I think they got Carey Price, who can steal games. I don't know if he can steal enough series to get him all the way there. Toronto, dude, I think Toronto could again be a surprise team. They're young, but they have Tavares, who's got that leadership, and he's never went deep. So like he's got that itch to make a run at it. They got Muzzin. They got some guys who definitely have leadership. So they could make a run at it. Calgary, potentially, I don't know for sure. I don't think Calgary wouldn't be my top runner. Vancouver, I don't think has a shot. I mean, yeah, I just don't think Vancouver's built for this type of tournament.
The answer is clearly the Ottawa Senators, right?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about Ottawa. I was like, who's the 16th? I literally forget that Ottawa's in the NHL sometimes, dude. Like, they're just it's just so bad, dude. It's a dumb.
I got to attend home games where it's like an away game,
dude, and that's what it was like in Arizona, and I didn't know that existed in Canada. And then when my friends were like, "Yeah, dude, no one goes to Ottawa Senators games," I was like,
what you get when you put the arena out in Canada, boys.
Yeah, it's very, very true.
That's it's like Toronto is like down, like right in the heart of Toronto. Like it's right there next to like everywhere all the concerts are and everything. Like,
and that
they were. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say that's the problem almost with the NHL to an extent is you go to a hockey game in Arizona, like in Glendale, Arizona, you go watch the Coyotes play, and then you go watch the Maple Leafs play in Toronto. That's 2 completely different experiences. Like not even remotely close, dude. And I'm sure Ottawa's
buy interest. You can't like fake manufacture interest in the general.
But exactly, and then the production that goes into it, man. Like when you go to Toronto's games, I had this feeling that like you're a part of a show. Like it's just it starts and like the fan interaction and like even the games and stuff that go on are almost like it's a story that's developing throughout the game. Where like when you go to a game in Arizona, it's just like random shit going on during the game, and it's not that interesting and whatever. But to give Arizona a little bit of a shout out because we were there for 6 years when they went on their run and went to like the Western Conference Finals and lost to LA when LA won the cup. they were doing pretty good. Like those playoff games were actually sick, and they had a lot of fans and stuff. But
And
yeah,
I think those those markets like the Floridas and the Carolinas and places where the hockey's not like the focal point of interest, their fan base comes alive when the team is doing good, and when the team is doing bad, they don't show up at
Well,
all.
like, wait a minute. I'm
Yeah.
starting to think about something now. I'm starting to think, like, because isn't Toronto one of the like most wealthy of like teams?
yeah, they're them. It's probably like I think it's like the Rangers, the Leafs. I don't know, the
Bruins,
So,
probably.
Bruins. Yeah,
so do they have like buying power when it terms of like reaching out to contracts for persuading freelance players to come join their team? Like, is that a thing or?
oh
No,
god,
this is a salary cap. Like, there's just general interest in playing in that market, but there's also like a disinterest because of the pressure. So
there's
it's
a yeah, exactly. But what Toronto's kind of done, and essentially the salary cap is set, and right now it's at like just around like 81 million, and they were projecting it to go up between like 84 to 87 is where they were projecting it to go for next year. And because COVID hit, then the new CBA, it's actually staying where it is at like 81.5 or whatever. And so that means like each NHL team has 50 contracts that they can give out, and those 50 contracts are your like NHL and AHL rosters, and then your junior prospects and stuff, right? And so of that 50 players, you have $81 million to distribute, right? And like better players make more money, like not as good players make less money, kind of thing, right? So what Toronto is found themselves in a tough situation is they have Austin Matthews, John Tavares, William Nylander, and Mitch Marner making like like 65% of their cap. Like,
Right.
so then they have to sign 46 players with like 45 or 50% of their cap space. You know what I mean? So that's where you don't get depth, right? That's when you just have a very top heavy team, and they were hoping that the cap would go up, and it didn't. So it might affect them going down the stretch. Um,
It depends how they stagger the contracts too, right? Like, what are you paying them in which year of the contract?
Exactly. And the thing that, but going to your point, Joe, and why this has been another conversation that's came into hockey, because even though the salary cap is there, the one thing that Toronto's done to kind of maneuver around it is they pay their players in like gigantic signing bonuses. So
Oh.
on July 1st, like and the whole league does this, but it's more or less like, do you have that money to give out on one day? Because like Austin Matthews this year on July 1st had got a check for like $15 million from the Leafs.
Wow.
But then his salary throughout the year, every 2 weeks, he makes like way less money. But that's just because of the way that his contract's structured. But like all those guys are like that. So on July 1st, the Leafs paid out like freaking $50 million or whatever in one day. So I don't know if that number's exact, but like it's a huge number. So like a team like Arizona couldn't do that.
Yeah.
A team like Florida, their ownership would never want to do that because it would just be a huge dent to the owner in one sum, where the Leafs have so much money that they're like they don't give a shit, you know.
Hmm.
That
Do you
that's
think that affects the psyche of the players in some way?
oh, for sure, dude. Like, I mean, they're professionals, so I think that it comes and goes, right? But like when you pull over like a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey, dude, like there's a lot of pride. Like when you're in that rink, when you're in that environment, when you're in that media, like you're such a high class level celebrity. And some people, like we talked about on an episode before, the level of almost ego that is inside of professional athletes to compete at that level. Um, uh, they need that environment to be their best, right? And other guys don't want that environment. Some guys want to go to other places and not get recognized, not be known, not have that celebrity status. But then, you go to Toronto or New York or Boston or Montreal, um, you're like the biggest show in town, right? So there's pressure that comes with that, but I think with that, like those guys strive for that. You know, you don't grow up dreaming of playing in front of a half empty building. You dream of playing in
Big
front of Montreal.
stadium. Yeah.
Well, and
Exactly.
the beauty of the Maple Leafs is like if they finally do win it, like you are going down in history. Like you're either gonna be the biggest goat or you're gonna be like the biggest champs ever. Because like playing in that market, you have bad games and they let you hear about it for the next like 4. Like they won't let it go. And it's just such a microscope that they're constantly under. You either rise to the occasion and you get that fan base so riled up that like the momentum is undeniable, like the Raptors, or you have what they did last year. And the thing that boggles my mind about the Maple Leafs is they have like the horsepower of a Mustang, but they drive it like it's a Prius or something, you know, like they just fall apart come playoff time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a big knock against Mike Babcock, the coach that was in Toronto before they recently. Well, I guess not that recently. Now they fired him and brought in a guy by the name of Sheldon Keefe. But the big issue with him was that like he kind of like when he coached in Detroit and had some success, won some Stanley Cups, and he had a very deep team. He had really good players, but he also was able to like coach a team with 4 good lines and all this stuff. And then he goes to Toronto and he kind of tried and wanted to coach the same way with the same, 4 lines, all this stuff. And like in the last minutes of the game, like he wouldn't be putting like Matthews, Tavares, and Marner on the ice. And people are like, dude, what are you doing? Like, who gives a shit
He'd
if you think?
also,
Oh, go ahead.
he'd also talk to them like they're veteran players that he had in Detroit. Like they're not the same. They're younger guys. You got to approach it differently, and you got to like dole out discipline with a certain demeanor. You
Like, for
can't go
sure.
in there and give these young guys like a verbal tongue lashing and expect them to respond. Like, yeah, do it once in a while when the situation is the right one to do that. But if he's doing it after every bad game, like that's what a big knock on him was, is that the players didn't like playing for him. They thought he was a big asshole.
Well,
Yeah,
so
exactly. And there's definitely a certain level of that works. But like you said, the game's changed. People have changed. Like, um, players don't respond to being demoralized or demeaned the same way that I think sports has kind of painted that they do in the past. You know.
Well, and I think it's strange that he went from like 5 years ago being considered the best coach in hockey to like now people are realizing his deficiencies. But I want to let Joe, either direct this conversation in a different way or, if he's got some input, chime in, because I feel like we, being the sports guys, have seized the opportunity. Yeah.
yeah, no,
Sports.
it's honestly it's totally fine because like it's still incredibly interesting because it's a realm that I'm not as knowledgeable in. So like listening to you guys, I learn a lot, and then it allows me to ask like some questions that might make you guys think about things a little differently, right? Because I don't look at it in the same way, right?
Yeah. I like your prompts. And like once you dip your toe in the fandom water, like you might find yourself consuming it.
Yeah, well, I feel like that it's no doubt that it's going to eventually continue to grow, especially just talking with you guys.
Keep
Like,
podcasting with us.
yeah,
Yeah, dude. You once like now that playoffs are going on, you'll come over, crush some beers in the backyard, and watch some hockey, and
I know.
In the backyard.
I'll
So
convert
Canadian.
you.
Yeah,
Dude,
I,
I
I
know
do
it's so
like
unreal.
watching
I'm so
it.
excited.
I do. I don't mind watching it at all. Like I used to watch it every once in a while with Dad back home, and I don't mind it at all. It's just I don't follow it really.
That's the thing. You kind of with sports, if you just tune into a game here and there, they're not very interesting. But if you look at it as like a long, year-long, like dramatic play and like different things going on and internal battles and storylines, it's so exciting, dude. Like, and I think that's the thing with sports. Like, it's a tough rep. Is like you kind of do need to follow it, and whether that's like checking it every, looking at standings and watching games every couple days a week or whatever, but once you do get into it, I find that there's nothing that captivates quite like it. Like,
There was something in me as like a 6-year-old kid that for whatever reason I'd be flipping through the channels and Sports Center would come on TSN, and for some reason I just gravitated towards it and I would not miss an episode. I'd watch the same recap like 5 times in one day
dude, in the
and just
morning,
get so into it.
I would wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning and watch for like 4 hours, dude. And it's exactly it's like it's a belt. It just repeats the same highlights over and over and over. But yeah, it's sports are great.
On that note, I think we need to have another episode where we dive into sports as the playoffs go along here and we get deeper into it. And I also, on a episode soon, I want to dive back into video games so we can finish our rankings, obviously a lot faster than we did the first time around, but I also want to discuss like all the games that got revealed for Xbox and PS5 and like, what's next.
I'm into that. Yeah, I'm totally into that for sure too.
I don't know. It's time for Would You Rather?
I don't know.
All right, boys. So the second inaugural Would You Rather, which we introduced this last week, and we all thought we had so much fun that we decided to make it a permanent thing. So I got a few doozies for you today. Are you boys ready for this?
Always.
Lay it on us.
All right. So number one's kind of an easier one, but it still requires some thinking. So would you rather always be 10 minutes late or always be 20 minutes early?
Ooh, 20 minutes early for sure. Dude, I hate late people.
I'm gonna second that 20 minutes earlier.
And that might be a controversial comment, but I hate late people.
That one's kind of easy. Like, who's gonna be like, I would love to be 10 minutes late.
Fashionably late, depends.
Yeah, that's true. Fashionably
for
late.
A party, or if it's for
that's
going to your mother-in-law's. No,
showing up 20 minutes early to a party, you're a complete loser. But I guess then you can always just pull the like, oh, I'll be right back, and then just walk out to your car and sit in your car for 20 minutes.
All right. Well, I think that one doesn't really require much deep thought. So let's move on to the next one. Would you rather have one real get out of jail free card or a key that opens any door?
Ooh.
Damn, they're both
so you can have a free crime of your choice or a life of limitless theft and or espionage.
If I'd say free crime because I'm not an asshole.
No, dude, I'm taking the free key. I'm so curious.
What?
I'm so curious, dude.
What door would you open first? The
closet. You know what door I'd open first? I would open the door to the Federal Reserve first.
But then you get
that it's a room. It's a room
to the ground.
No. Because I guess that doesn't mean you just have free. But I guess if I had a key, then they'd be like, "Well, how does he have a key for it?" And I'd be like, "Don't worry, guys. Ask your boss."
The silver tongue clearance. The silver tongue comes into play, dude. I see.
Yes. Because there's also a myth I've heard that the Federal Reserve is just a big empty warehouse. And the currency is built up on nothing. So I'd like to figure that out.
So what about you, Joe? Get out of jail free. What brings you to that determination?
Because like
the inevitability of it all.
Because I'm a criminal.
Yeah. No. Oh shit. Yeah, that walked myself right into a wall there with that one.
What crime would you be likely to commit that you would need that card for?
Oh damn.
What could you see Joe getting arrested for?
Yeah, can I ask
Public
you?
Intoxication.
Yeah,
urination.
I was gonna say that too, but I want to be like, oh fuck, they're gonna think I'm alcoholic.
Yeah, we all get slippery sometimes.
Dude, I love getting wet in the whistle a little bit. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, so
let me
put it to you this way. If it was an inevitability that you were gonna have to go to jail at some point, let's say it was for, I don't know, Grand Theft Auto, something that would give you a couple of years, or would you rather have that key that opens any door?
Wait, but if I had a key that could open up any door, I could just open up the door to my cell and walk out.
But then the guards might still catch you.
Yeah, that's true, but still.
You just throw the key at their faces and then.
This is rabbit hole for sure.
I'd look at the guard and be like, "What door do you want opened? I'll open it if you let me go."
Yeah, that's a good point. Bribery is alive and well in the penal system.
Yeah, I'll just Yeah, exactly. I'll bribe him to get what I want.
Interesting.
Love it.
Okay, here's an interesting one. and it might require like a stop and think sort of thing. Would you rather know the history of every object you've ever touched when you touch it, or be able to talk to animals?
Oh, talk to animals for sure. You know how many times I wanted to say, like, have a conversation with my dogs, dude, growing up, and just like talk to them and see what their day was like. Fuck.
But on the flip side, and I think I agree with you on the talk to animals because that would be really badass. But on the flip side, you could be the most badass archaeologist ever, or you could be the best like crime detective of all time.
Yeah, that's so true. But what if you like picked up a what if what if you like picked up like I'm trying to think of something that
A
would be
murder
cool.
weapon and had to see that grisly scene play out in front of you. Well, I guess you wouldn't see it.
No, I was thinking something a little different. I was thinking like what if you picked up like a water bottle and just like flashing in your mind was like some dude shoving the water bottle up his butthole. And you just had to watch that and be like, oh,
Seems like it'd be a lot of
like
trauma.
you don't know, man. You don't know what people do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say speak to animals. But then the contrary to that is like, what if what if like your animal didn't like you? Like, what if you start talking to your dog and he's like, dude, you fucking suck, bro. Like he actually hears what you're saying and he
No,
doesn't like you. That'd be devastating.
I feel like that would be your cat that would say that.
Yeah, but
Leave me
cats,
alone, fucker.
dude.
Yeah.
I hate cats, man. I know
I
I'm gonna
talked
get.
to a sloth. He'd probably just be like, "Yo, bro, I'm
He'd be like-
really down for a nap."
He'd be like, bro, let me hit that, bro. What is that, dude? Let me hit that.
All right,
That's funny.
that's some good points about that one. Would you rather be married to a 10 with a bad personality or a 6 with an amazing personality?
Oh my goodness.
Married
Yeah,
for life.
I'm gonna say I'm lucky in real life because I have both. So,
Oh,
Jackson with the brownie points. What a good guy he is.
winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Dude, you guys have to answer that first.
Like a 6 with is cool. Good personality be awesome because then you could just be best buddies. And then you could like maybe work out together or something, and then up each other's points a bit. But a 10, I
Yeah,
feel
but then if you're a 6, if say your wife's a 6 and you're like a 5, then your kids are gonna be like 5.5s. So like
yeah,
you're kind of screwing over your future self.
that's interesting thought. Because if you have a 10, you're guaranteed progeny.
Yeah, like even if she's a 10 and you're like a 6, at least then you're like, getting an 8.
Yeah, what if like I guess, what if like you just bring all the personality, you just be the beauty.
Well, I
Yeah, I
am
mean,
a beauty, so
not
that's
you like I'm talking about the 10, you know.
like
I
what if
mean-
what if you change her into being a better person?
Yeah, what if you like change her, like we give her a chip? Oh shit.
Put a chip in her brain.
I'm going to put some limits on this conversation here. She's got to stay a bad personality. No influence. She's just a bitch forever. Shitty person.
Yeah, chip, bro.
The Elon Musk chip to solve everything.
Yeah, this is buy the chip. I don't know.
All right,
it's kinda
I got
evil.
one more for you, and then we got some lightning round. Would you rather be able to talk to land animals, animals that fly, or animals that live under the water?
Ooh. I'm gonna
The
take
most
this one.
important question is, what would the conversations be like?
Okay, I would say under the water, and is Atlantis real?
What's down there, bro? We don't even know.
Yeah, we know more about
But you-
space. Like you said that before. We know more about space and underwater. It's crazy.
Dude,
Yeah, so, I mean, if the creature, I mean, animals are not like amoebas or something, but if you could talk to one that can like reach the depths of the ocean, that would be pretty good insight.
this is such a mind. I don't know, dude.
I don't know. I don't know. We've
know.
broken Jackson.
I know. I'm literally. I can't decide which one or what I'd ask them. I mean, the ocean would obviously be dope, because it's so unknown. But like, I don't know. I feel like ocean animals are kind of dumb, dude. Like not all ocean animals,
What
but
about
like
dolphins?
Man, yeah, I was gonna say dolphins,
I
dude.
know, but that's one. No way. Okay, well, what about dolphin, whale, and shark? Okay, ooh, an octopus. Ooh, okay, but like, what else? Like, there's so many. There's so many fucking
You
things
just-
down there, and what you have 4 that you're gonna chat with?
Yeah.
If
Like,
you're a sea
man,
creature
under
listening to
the
this
sea.
podcast, you're not a big fan of Jackson.
if
Right
you
now.
feel personally victimized by Jackson's comment, please dial our hotline at 1-800-fuck sea animals. No, I definitely think land animals. My question would probably be like, why are you so savage, dude? Land animals don't give a fuck, dude. They will eat
There's some
anything.
interesting land animals you could have a conversation with, like lions, rhinos, tigers,
Yeah.
wolves.
Yeah.
Animals that fly, you could probably ask them some cool questions like, you know what, like,
Like,
I
what's
don't know.
that like?
Have you ever
Yeah,
pooped
yeah,
on
what's that?
somebody? Like,
Because like you went for a swim, so you get the general idea. You've walked on land, but you ain't never flew.
That's kind of a good point. But I looked outside of a plane before.
Nah, it's not the same.
It's not the same. That's why I want to go
Would you guys ever go
skydiving,
skydiving?
dude.
I was just gonna say, would you ever go skydiving?
fuck
Yes.
yeah, we should go together.
That'd be so
Special,
good.
special episode, video footage.
I think I would go skydiving way before I'd go bungee jumping.
Me too, because
Yeah.
I fear less that the parachute won't come out more than the bungee will snap.
Dude, every time I see a
Or-
bungee jumping video, I just have an image in my mind of how fucking badly my neck and back would hurt. Like after the whiplash of the bungee goes.
I wonder if it would kind of feel good because of like being a bit old.
Chiropractics.
Yeah, it's like chiropractic. Like it just stretch you out properly because I feel like, yeah,
It's only one way to find out.
yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't like roller coaster. Like I like some roller coasters, but I'm not a huge like amusement park ride guy.
Oh, I love them so much.
I know your sister loves them too, and I'm like, do you ever just think that you could just die
No
at any
way.
moment?
Final Destination, you definitely can.
Dude, you know how many people get hurt on those fucking rides every year, and they just don't talk about it in the media because the big media doesn't want you to think that it's not safe. Big
I
media.
feel like it's a lot like airplanes crashing. Like, you know, so many people take so many trips on those things. Shit does happen, but the likeliness of it's probably not that high. But I share your kind of fear of
Unless I'm at like Disney World. Like if I go to like Disney or like Six Flags or I don't know, like Canada Wonderland or whatever, then like yeah, okay, I'm in. But like the fair, dude. If you go to the fair,
fuck that shit.
yeah, dude, come on.
Carnies, man, they can't be trusted.
Exactly. You want to talk about equal pay? Freaking carnies, man.
All right, boys, it's that time again.
It's time for Lightning Round. Lightning Round. Lightning Round.
Dude, sorry, not to interrupt, but big time shout out to our new sound clips, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
buddy that made them is a goddamn pimp.
We're gonna have to put a shout out to him if he would like that in the link or something, because these are nice.
Yeah, if you guys like our sound clips, imaging guy on Fiverr,
There you go. Boom.
get at him.
Beauty.
Okay, Joe, you're up to bat, and hopefully I can win one because I feel like I've been on a cold streak here.
All right, yeah. We'll see what we can do. I'm not going to gear any of them. I don't really know. We're just going to see what happens. But it's
So you didn't come
kind
prepared.
If you ask me why a human buries their head, I'm gonna straight up come at you through this mic.
Is water
No,
wet?
they're legit questions, and you're going to like them.
Alright.
They're variety stuff. So, all right. Question number 1: which country gifted the Statue of Liberty to the U.S.?
France.
France is the correct answer.
Boom.
Boom.
All right,
One up.
Jake. I see you came to play. I see you.
Dirty dog.
I see you.
What are the 4 best friends in the TV show Pretty Little Liars?
No idea. No fucking.
Okay, let me just guess.
If you guess, if you see, yeah.
Let me just guess what the main. I have no clue. Although I think I have watched a few episodes of that show, but this is gonna be this is what we're gonna do. And I don't think we can award points for it. But me and Jake are gonna guess what we think the names of 4 characters on a show called Pretty Little Liars would be.
Okay, well,
Okay.
okay. I had this multiple choice.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
So,
I was gonna say Kate. I was gonna say Caitlin, Mackenzie, Sophia, and Bella.
Okay, see if you can get one of them, and then I'll ask you the actual question. Like, give you the multiple. Jake, give me 4 answers, and if you get one of them, I'll give you a point.
Bridget, Melissa, Betsy, Stacy.
Okay.
Negative. Neither on both sides.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Okay, so there's 4: Hannah, Emily, Aria, and A, Mona, B, Charlie, C, Allison, D, Spencer.
Allison. Yeah, that was my guess too. Same C's.
Another question. Try again.
Oh shit!
Charlie,
Spencer.
Spencer is correct.
Kid is hot.
2 points for Jake Areno.
Guessing game on point.
All right, this is going to be a quick one. You guys are going to have to really be quick with your answers. In which decade does the Netflix series Stranger Things take place?
1980.
80s is correct.
Boom.
I gapped for a second. I thought it was when it aired. I was like 2010.
This year, this one.
That's great. Okay, all right. Next question. Which country consumes the most chocolate? Multiple choice.
Switzerland.
Switzerland, yeah.
Switzerland, and Jackson was hot on the answer, so
Yeah,
I'm
he
gonna
definitely
give
beat me to that
Is
one.
that right?
Yeah.
By a smidgen.
That's
Dude,
that's
I love
right,
that we
yes.
got it right without even multiple choice. That makes me
we
feel
don't
like
need that shit.
I
We
know
know
I know
chocolate.
everything about chocolate, dude.
Cocoa fucking beans.
Call me Willy Wonka.
All right, the score is 2-2. Next question. What is sodium chloride?
Salt.
That is correct. Salt is the correct answer. Jackson takes the lead.
I was gonna say that for the record.
All right.
All right. Now we're going to do a multiple choice. Who wrote the songs for The Lion King? Was it A, Elton John, B,
Elton
Phil Collins?
Phil Collins. No, it's Phil Collins.
Wow. I mean, you gotta let me read the question.
Wow, no. What if we already know it?
But you just said it was Elton John. When it
And
was
he's
Elton
right.
John.
It is Elton John. Shit.
Uh,
I was gonna say that is true, so he should get a guess, but
no, I'll give you that one.
Okay. So I was 3-3. 3-3.
I
Okay,
can
next
feel
question.
it coming in the end. Okay,
All right.
go ahead.
There's another multiple choice. Let me get the whole question out.
Oh Lord.
Which biblical narrative is connected to Palm Sunday? Multiple choice. Is it A, Jesus' entry into Jerusalem? Is it B, Jesus' resurrection? C, Jesus feeding the thousands? Or D, nothing? It just seems to go to church on Sunday, the day of rest. That's all it means. Do you want me to repeat the question or read the answers?
No. I'm gonna say B.
I'm gonna say A.
It is A, entry into Jerusalem.
What's
That
the buzz? Tell me what's happening. No?
Three to
Jesus
4.
Christ Superstar?
Oh, that okay. Can I just say how awesome that one riff is in like the opening jingle? I remember watching because we went to Catholic school growing up, and that's the only
They
reason
made
why I
us watch
remember it.
for sure.
Yeah, they made us watch it. It was like so sweet.
Rockin' Jesus.
Yeah, it was one of the reasons why I want to start picking up the guitar. It took me years to pick up the guitar after that, but I remember having that thought. All right, next question. In the U.S. version of The Office, Michael Scott burns his foot on A, hot water, B,
Wait,
pavement.
stop. Oh no, okay, go ahead. I know the answer, but go ahead.
He burns his foot on hot water, pavement, rocks
George
on fire.
Foreman drill.
George Foreman Gill is correct. And I just now realized that Jake has not seen The Office.
Yeah, what kind of shit is that?
I'm sorry.
But you can discount that one out of it.
No.
I won't take it.
What's
Alright,
the score?
dude? You should literally go watch just that episode, dude. If I can recommend one thing to you and anyone watching this, watch The Office from start to finish and just appreciate how incredibly acted that show is.
It's amazing. I think the whole point of that little fidbit was to get you to watch The Office.
Yeah, boom.
Yeah, now I'm gonna catch flack for not seeing it.
Which you should.
You totally should, yeah. Especially now because like it's still on Netflix, so you can like crush it before it leaves.
All right, what's the score? I'm in it to win it here.
All right, so it's 3-5. Jackson's in the lead, 5-3. On to question number 9. All right, another multiple choice. The superstition believes that when the groundhog sees his shadow, it means A, early spring, B, 6 more weeks of winter, C, it's going to rain, or D, a tornado is coming.
A.
Jackson?
I think it's B.
It is B, 6 more weeks of winter.
Dude.
Yeah, I was torn between A and B.
I know. I didn't think it was a tornado one, I'll tell you that much.
How many? This was going to be a quick one.
Joe's a little biased here because I believe last time we did this, he started throwing questions just to Jackson when he was down, and I'm down by 3, and I haven't heard any of that shit.
Okay, so
I let you pick first last time. I'll let you pick first every one.
I'm not wrong though. I'm not wrong though.
You're not wrong. So like you're gonna get a couple of them. The next 2, maybe 3, maybe all of them for you. No, I'm just kidding.
Pandering.
Just
it
pandering.
works every time.
Yeah. Well, I also did I confirm there was going to be 11 questions because I could probably do more than that. But let's just give you a question anyway. See if you get it. How many degrees are in a circle?
360.
Nailed it.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Boom goes the kapow.
I know my maths.
Okay. Which city is known as the City of Love?
Philadelphia. No.
San
got that wrong.
Francisco.
Nope.
Is it actually?
Is it not San Francisco?
No.
Philly's brotherly love.
Yeah, I was gonna say Las Vegas.
Oh, Paris.
It is Paris.
Oh shit! It's Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, the city.
Different. Yeah, dude.
City of drunken high love.
We're gonna give this one to Jake here. Just as a quick, so you get a start. As an adult, how many teeth should you have in your mouth?
Oh God.
I'll give you both a guess, and then I'll give you the multiple choice.
24.
32.
See, for some strange reason, I thought that I was gonna say 32, and then I was like trying to count my teeth, and I was like, no.
You're like, there can't be 32 in there. Everyone listening to this is counting their teeth right now, going, what? 32? No fucking way.
All right. I think because we could take this on forever. If there was only 11, he would have won. If there's probably more, he's still in line to win. So,
yeah. I know. I feel bad though. I don't have. If Jake has an epic rant, I'd be willing to forfeit for today only.
You could pass. You have a pass code.
And I could. I'll still take trivia for next round, and the fact that I won, I'll take that as well. But I will pass if you have something that teed up that you'd like to go on about.
Yeah, I'm a stickler for the rules. I think I'll let you have it. I need to earn it. My trivia was not on point.
I don't even know. All right. I got something.
We don't reward participation medals at See What Sticks.
I just made something up, so we're good. But are we gonna do? What are we doing first?
Here we go. I'll tell you.
Oh my God! What's weird in the world today? Oh my God!
He didn't just do that.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Rant, what's weird in the world today, boys?
What's weird today in my world that just kind of came to my mind because I was like, "What is weird? What happened that was weird?" It's kind of COVID related, I guess, which I know people are probably like, "Stop talking about COVID." But I went to the doctor today. Our little guy had his 6-month checkup and shots and stuff today. And going into the hospital, this is like the third time this has happened to me. And I'm sure it's happened elsewhere, but for other people. But they like take your temperature now when you go into the hospital. And it's very I Am Legend esque. You know, in the opening scene of I don't even know if it's the opening scene, but the one scene of I Am Legend where he like they're trying to get on the helicopter and all the people are trying to get through and the National Guard takes their temperature and like lets people in and lets certain people not in. Do you guys
I
kind
know
of
I've seen
vaguely
that movie,
remember,
but it's
yeah.
been a while.
Yeah. So, anyways, I just had kind of a moment where I was like, "Whoa, this is weird, man. This is very much like, you know, if all of a sudden we got an apocalypse next, I wouldn't be terribly surprised." So that's it. Getting your temperature taken when you go out is weird. That's what's weird.
Joe.
This one is from Gizmodo, and it's by George Dvorsky. I can't remember if I'm saying that. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but anyway, it was posted today, and it's a freaky elongated cloud has reappeared on Mars. So on Mars, there's like this recurring giant water and ice cloud that you can actually see with a telescope, apparently. And it's a feature that is like 20 kilometers, and it looks like a volcano. Looks like something like a plume that you'd have like from a volcano, but apparently there's actually no volcanic activity of any kind around in that area, and it just like repeats itself every. What's the number that they give every 11 years or something like that? Something like that. But anyway, the whole point that makes it weird is that like looks like a volcanic plume, and it's made of water and ice, and it's giant, like huge weird cloud. There's like chemtrails on.
Could it be like an ice volcano?
Could it be aliens?
Dude, the Pentagon already confirmed aliens, so there's that.
There we go. So that's kind of weird. That I thought was kind of cool. Also.
Aliens for sure, bro.
For sure. Jake?
Okay, so what's weird in the world today? You know what's weird is there's apparently this kind of underground cult going around that has a large appreciation for a certain Amazon product that I'm not sure if you guys have heard of. Do you know the lore of the Haribo sugar-free gummy bears?
I have not heard of that.
Haribo gummy bears are so good.
Have you heard this this cult following and what they're onto? Okay, let me enlighten you. So there's certain reviews for this product based upon its how shall I say it, laxative properties. So I'm going to read you one of these reviews, and I think you'll take some enjoyment out of it. It's definitely weird. So this feller is from England, and here's his rendition. I sit here writing this review at 4 a.m. from my porcelain throne, a fixture you will become all too familiar with if you choose to eat these cute little bears from the pits of hell. I had to eat a pound of these little bastards after Man City must have thought they were playing American football the other week and lost to a team of Arsenal scrubs. They were a bit chewy, but overall appeared to be nothing more than your average gummy bears. After about 2 hours with little more than some mild stomach cramps, feeling like one would expect from eating a pound of any candy, I began to wonder if I'd gotten some duds. Like the slow build-up of a Martin Scorsese film, however, those bears were waiting for their baptism scene to destroy my insides. It started with the cramping, very akin to doing 1,000 crunches and then being forced to hold the 1,001st crunch indefinitely. Then came the initial run, which opened the proverbial floodgates. I'm over 30, and I'm beginning to wonder if these bears know that and want to send me back to the can for each year I've been on this earth to make me wonder why I'd ever been born. In between gastrointestinal bouts of pressure washing the inside of my toilet from my anus, I lay in bed feeling as if someone were to punch me in the stomach, I'd explode, turning the walls of my bedroom into a soiled Jackson Pollock rendition. To give you an idea, I'd spent $50 ordering a UFC pay-per-view, only to willingly miss the last 2 to 3 fights on the main card because I didn't want to stray too far from my master bathroom. Thankfully for me and my marriage, fearing what might be coming, I convinced my wife to spend the evening at my sister-in-law's because, trust me, fellas, nothing will be gained from your significant other experiencing this with you. I'm no longer in pain, but I'm still having to make trips back to my master bath on a regular basis. Eat these if you dare, but be forewarned. They are not to be trifled with unless you want your toilet to be a staging ground for repeat fecal rehearsals of the Red Wedding from Game of Thrones.
Dude,
Jesus,
that's so
Christ,
funny. I
dude.
literally just looked it up on Reddit, and there's literally pages and pages and pages of people's reviews about how this stuff makes them shit.
Yeah, so it's a thing. And, I heard about this from, strangely enough, my supervisor at the time at work, and he assured me I would not be missing out on a hilarious knee-slapping good time. And that's just one of the amazing tales of the Haribo gummy bears. So if you're lucky, you might get more excerpts from that in the future. But I digress. It is time for...
It's a Shonda Nachapa, fed dust the leg in its able to buy.
It's time for Epic Rant. Epic Rant.
Well. I didn't have anything. At least I didn't think I had anything to rant about, to talk to you lovely, lovely people about today. But you know what? I opened up Reddit, and I just had an idea spark inside my mind, and I thought, you know what? This is something that I can voice to the people that will understand. Reddit, internet, tough guys. People that post on the internet thinking that there's no consequences for their words and the things that they say. And I just want to let you know, if you're the type of person or you've done anything along these lines in the past, it's okay and it's fine, but just change and just be better. If you've ever posted on someone's comment or a section of a post telling them something mean about themselves or personally attacking them, you're an asshole. And I just want to say that the internet needs less of that. So if you have something that you would like to say or comment it or communicate with somebody or let them know or tell them that you think their video sucks or that their whatever is stupid, just take a second and realize that your words that are going out on the internet are not just words. People are reading these things. You're communicating with other people out there. And I know the internet can be a faceless waste ground of communication that you feel like will never turn back and come back inside and affect your life. But from what I've learned, what I've experienced, what I've went through, just know any energy that you're putting out in the universe is coming back to you, and it's being returned at some level. And if you don't believe in all that, if you don't think that karma or the truth of how you treat people is how you'll be treated, if there's no weight to that for you, just know that it's not a good thing to do. It's not fun. It's not nice. If you don't like something, just don't like it, or write or share that you don't like it, but you don't need to attack people and be rude to people and go after people, because I think the internet and the world itself is a bad enough and tough enough place. But in general, I think we can all be a little bit nicer. And this is a hilarious rant as I'm going down it, because I realize I'm asking the internet to be nicer, which is an insane comment. But what I'm really saying is take the individual responsibility and realize that, you don't have to be mean to people. And if you are, if that person was in front of your face, would you say the same things to them? And the answer is probably no. And to combat that and to go with that, I would say I think not enough people know what it feels like. In the famous words of Mike Tyson, everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the face. And I don't think enough people have been punched in the face. And the internet shows that, because people are not afraid to say what they want and do what they want and act like there's no consequences in life, but just take personal responsibility with your actions and understand that it's easier to spread love and appreciation and connect with people than it is to spread hate. So if you're having a bad day, if you're having a bad week, if you're having a bad month, if you're having a bad year, stop looking at the things on the internet that are making you feel bad. Stop telling people that they suck. Stop trying to spread this negative filth that you do, and just be happy. Be positive. Try. And I know it's not easy, but if you want to see happy things, look at happy things and feel happier, or try to go down a more positive path than the negativity that you can find in different outlets. And I think that you'll be in a better spot than you are today. And I think that is all for my epic rant for today.
Hashtag get a life. We're
Get
going to get
a
attacked
life.
by Reddit and 4chan ninjas now.
I hope so, dude. Come at me, bro. I get attacked by
Hey, that's
Reddit.
traffic.
I get attacked by Reddit on a daily basis, dude. And it's okay. I'm tougher than the internet, so it's fine.
I think that's the definition of what Epic Rant is supposed to be about. So kudos to you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Very good.
All right. Well, this was an epic 10th episode. We ran a bit longer than we normally do, but I think it's warranted in the case of a milestone episode like this, and another fun night. Glad to see our new intros and segment intros in action.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Let us know what you think, but don't let us know if you don't like it, please.
Because we love it too much.
All right. Well, unless there's anything else, we will see you. New episode dropping every Tuesday, 12 p.m.
All right. Love you guys. Thanks.
Much love. Peace.
That's all for tonight, folks. Tune in next week for more tasty podcasting goodness. Send us your thoughts and comments on our social media pages. And be sure to hit that like or follow button. Check us out at our website at www.seewhatsticks.net and give us suggestions for content you want us to discuss on the show. And any ideas you have for lightning round trivia. What's weird in the world today? And would you rather? Until next time, Splat Nation.